If I say break, you break clean. If I say stop boxing, you stop punching, you take one step back, but you defend yourself, okay? Now hitting around the back of the head. You don't want to be coming up with your head in a clinch. You're hitting low, so keep all your punches up, okay? Knocking down, break on, straight to the neutral corner, okay? You just keep your boxing nice and clean, you know. All right? Any questions? Okay, so let's do the best of luck.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Going out, got the door. Right, out the way.
Usyk, a Ukrainian. He's won all of the major titles in both amateur and professional boxing. Usyk has won everything one can ever dream of. He's won it all. Alexander Usyk was born and raised in Crimea, the peninsula in the south of Ukraine. It was tough in the 90s, after the dissolution of the USSR. His family was of modest means. Usyk played football, but quit due to lack of money. He switched to boxing instead. It was free and closer to his home. He was 15, which is considered quite late to take up boxing. Usyk grew up in a rough neighborhood. He was a neighborhood brat as a boy. As a teenager, he even got involved in semi-criminal situations. But boxing disciplined him and gave him a sense of purpose. Alexander started to win one tournament after another. Four years after taking up boxing, Usyk won the Ukrainian Championships. Then he won the World Championships and the European Championships. In 2012, Alexander won the most prestigious title in sports, the Olympic Championship. Before the Olympics, Usyk had gotten a traditional Ukrainian Cossack haircut. After his victory, he performed a Cossack dance in the ring. His was the most successful boxing team in the history of Ukraine. It was led by the London Olympic champions, Vasyl Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk. Before the Olympics, only Ukrainian sports fans knew about Alexander Usyk. He returned from London, Ukraine's favorite, a national hero and an idol.
Работаем. Раз, два, три. И зафиксировали.
Давай, Саня, давай, стой еще. Стой, ты в душу. А, ты прошел.
Давай, смотри, давай. Замри.
That Ukrainian team was dubbed the Golden. Its boxers were friends. They kept together even after their amateur careers had finished. After the London Olympics, almost all of the team's fighters were part of the Ukrainian Ottomans in the World Series of Boxing. This tournament is considered to mark a transition from amateur to professional boxing. Homecoming fights of the Ottomans had full houses. The Golden Team was victorious again. Lomachenko, Usyk, and most of their teammates have been fighting for the Ottomans just for 6 months. Then they parted ways. It was time for them to upgrade to professional boxing. As an amateur, Usyk had won all the main trophies. He had planned to sign a contract with a major sports promoter from the USA. Yet, they decided that the Ukrainian wouldn't be as successful in professional sports as he was as an amateur. He wasn't needed over there. Thus, Alexander signed up with a Ukrainian company. It belongs to the Klitschko brothers, who were very influential in the boxing world. In this situation, it was sheer luck for Usyk. Since the beginning of the 21st century, Vitaly and Volodymyr Klitschko had been reigning in the heavyweight division. These Ukrainian brothers are regarded as the best heavyweights in boxing history. The Klitschko era had lasted for over a decade. There's not a boxing title they hadn't won. They set records that were deemed impossible before them. They were inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Thanks to the Klitschko brothers, many people had learned about Ukraine internationally. The brothers used to dominate the ring, just like Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson in their time. They were well known in the USA.
Super, thank you.
And incredibly popular in Ukraine and Europe. At the beginning of his professional career, Alexander Usyk was just as popular, but only within his homeland.
Нет, я не могу вам нарисовать сердечко, потому что я рисую сердечко только своей жене.
Usyk performed in different Ukrainian cities. He fought in closed arenas and stadiums. Each time, the stands were packed. Fans all over Ukraine adored Usyk and fervently supported him. He paid them back with his sophisticated style of boxing and victories. Usyk's first professional bout took place in the fall of 2013. Vitaly Klitschko watched Usyk's fight together with his little sons. Years had passed since Usyk's professional debut. Vitaly Klitschko's younger son is now taller than his 6'7" father. He congratulated Usyk himself. Ukrainian football stars Andrei Shevchenko and Andrei Yarmolenko lined up to hug the champion.
Обратно в Украину все пояса вернут. Один остался гулять еще. Один до Болбиси гуляет.
Надо как-то вдвоем.
Бой закончился, мы выиграли.
Мы не зря переживали, и все получилось.
Yes.
У нас все получилось!
А можно такую большущую?
Можно, обязательно.
Слава Украине!
Usyk's entire professional career fell in hard times for Ukraine. Its inception also coincided with that of the Euromaidan. In 2013, the government turned down the European future of Ukraine. It made integration with Putin's Russia its policy. This meant losing all independence. As the protests sparked, the pro-government security forces killed more than 100 people. For 3 months, tens of thousands of Ukrainians had been protesting in the central square of Kyiv. Day and night, thousands more came to support them. One night, a boxing match was shown live on the Maidan. It was Usyk's second professional bout. The Euromaidan won, but Ukraine's hardships hadn't ended. Russia annexed the Crimean Peninsula. Then the war in eastern Ukraine broke out. It also affected Simferopol, the Crimean capital, Usyk and his family's homeland. Ukrainians were curious about his stance on the Crimean annexation and the situation at large.
Я уже говорил, и я не изменяю своего мнения о том, что я украинец, да, я из Симферополя, что Крым — это Украина. Для меня это так.
They kept on asking him, whose is Crimea and what next?
Ничего другого не будет. Будут выходить ребята в ринг, которые умеют боксировать. Спортсмена путь — это выигрывать и прославлять свою державу. Все, другого никакого боя не будет.
Неоднозначне ставлення до війни, до Криму. Я хотів, щоб ви розключали, ставили якісь акценти по відношенню до анексії Криму.
Крым — это мой дом. Я очень его люблю. Я там родился, там родились мои дети.
Крим – це Україна?
Крым — это Крым.
After those replies, Alexander Usyk instantly fell from grace. He was accused of not being patriotic enough. It was a serious accusation in a country at war. Thus, some Ukrainians started to despise him.
Есть еще вопросы?
Крым – це Україна?
Стоп! Стоп! Вы знаете, я не попугай, чтобы повторять вам по 100 раз, что, где, когда. Я кого предал из вас? То, что вы мне вот это собачьи такие вопросы задаете. Я представляю Украину во всем мире. Флаг поднимается украинский, гимн играет украинский. Вот мой ответ вам, провокаторы.
However, clashes with Ukrainian media and fans didn't hinder Usyk's sports career. Moreover, it even soared. In 2016, Usyk fought for the WBO cruiserweight title, his first professional one. His rival was Krzysztof Kowalski. Usyk won that title in Poland. Afterward, he fought only in his rival's homelands. For instance, in the USA, Germany, and Latvia.
The Simferopol, Ukraine, the reigning, defending, undefeated.
He celebrated victories all over the world with the Ukrainian flag in his hand as a boxer from the Ukrainian Simferopol.
A fight out of the Red Team represents Simferopol, Ukraine. Here is the undefeated, reigning, defending WBO cruiserweight champion of the world.
Champion of the world, Alexandrovich Usyk.
In 2017, Usyk was invited to the World Boxing Super Series, which was quite a piece of luck. The winner would hold the undisputed Cruiserweight Championship, 4 championship titles, and the Muhammad Ali Trophy. Alexander was born on the same day as Ali. He was also his first boxing idol, for Muhammad was truly the greatest boxer of all time. Ali changed his faith and converted to Islam. He almost went to jail for his anti-war views. He was a great athlete, a charismatic star, and an independent person with a strong character. He was both loved and hated for it. Part of the Ukrainian fans turned their backs on Usyk. At the same time, he was attracting more and more fans abroad thanks to his victories in the World Boxing Super Series and personal charisma. Even his lack of English proficiency contributed to his popularity.
There's only one day to the fight now. How do you feel?
I'm very feel.
This funny phrase by Usyk instantly became a meme in the boxing world.
Now, you know I have to ask you, right? Like, how are you feeling at this very moment?
I am very feel.
2 victories brought Usyk to the World Boxing Super Series final. The Russian boxer Murat Gassiev was the runner-up. The fight between them was to take place in Moscow. Ukraine-Russian relations were as hostile as ever. Crimea was still under the Russian occupation. Russia also supported separatists in eastern Ukraine in the ongoing war. For the first time in his career, Usyk had to make a decision to fight or not to fight. After pondering and tough negotiations, negotiations, Alexander and his team agreed to take part in the bout in the capital of Russia.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the main event of the evening tomorrow night here in Moscow, Russia. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the undisputed Cruiserweight Championship of the world.
The previous notable Ukraine-Russia competition took place in the fall of 2013. Volodymyr Klitschko and Alexander Povetkin also fought in Moscow.
Champion versus champion. Tomorrow night, Olympiyski, Moscow, Russia.
Back then, the relations between the two countries were stable. But in Russia, sports have always been a political instrument. They counted on Povetkin, patriotically dubbed Vitez, a knight to win for his fans. That match would have showcased Russia's fortitude and supremacy, in that case, over Ukraine.
Да, вот так вот. Передней рукой, да, отлично. И сам, да, вот так вот. Левая. Ты еще назад делай.
Shorten up your punch. That rhythm, keep that rhythm. Right back to the jab, right back to the jab.
The crowd chanted, Povetkin, Russia. But the boxer from Ukraine outdid him in the ring.
Еще раз, снова, точно так же. Отлично. Да, поиграйся, поиграйся.
Klitschko was dominant throughout the bout. He outclassed the best Russian heavyweight right before his fans' eyes. He defended 4 heavyweight championship titles, just like Volodymyr Klitschko, Usyk's. Just like Volodymyr Klitschko, Usyk first won the Olympic gold as an amateur. Then he won 4 more heavyweight titles as a professional. All of them were won in London.
Да, Лондон очень для меня счастливый, но никакая победа в профессиональном боксе не может превысить золото олимпийских игр. План был таков. Выйти, начали. Тут 12-й раунд, говорят, давай, вперед. Я пошел. Все, раунд закончился. Все, говорят, там дебют. Я счастлив, рад, сижу тут. Жить хочу. Жену любить. Чаще, блин. Я с января месяца херачу.
The more famous Alexander Usyk got, the more fans wanted to learn about him. Who is he? What does he do? Love and believe in. They also grew more demanding of him.
Я очень вас всех сильно люблю. За вашу поддержку. За ваши яркие слова. За неподдержку. Пояса едут домой. Всем добра.
119 to 109. All three for your winner by unanimous decision. He's still undefeated. And now the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, Alexander Usyk.
On July 21st, 2018, Usyk decisively defeated Gassiev in Moscow. He won the Muhammad Ali Trophy and 4 championship belts. This victory made Alexander the first cruiserweight undisputed champion ever.
Украина, миленькая, родная, спасибо тебе за поддержку. Я домой еду с кубком и еще с поясами.
Alexander met his future wife at school. He married her at 22.
Хотя как мысль.
Back then, Katerina was pregnant with their first child, the daughter, Elizaveta. Then they had 2 sons. They named the first one Kirilo and the younger one Mikhailo.
Все, я шучу. Что такое?
Alexander Usyk was raised to cherish family values. His wife and children are everything to him. When in boxing camps, he is usually away from his family for quite a while. He misses them a lot and often chats with them via video calls.
Кирилл! Сына, привет! Вау, Лиза, ничего себе, у тебя такая крутая кофта и штаны!
Early in his professional career, Usyk fought only in Ukraine. His mother and wife went to his every fight back then. They worried and rooted for him just a few feet away from the ring. The boxer's father, however, didn't happen to witness his victories in professional boxing. He died as Usyk was coming back home from the London Olympics. Alexander never got to hug him after winning the Olympics. Alexander Usyk and Vasyl Lomachenko met as teenagers. Over time, they'd become close friends. More so, they refer to themselves as brothers. They navigated amateur boxing together. They turned professional simultaneously. The 2 friends hoped to remain that close. But Lomachenko signed a contract with an American company. Usyk signed with a Ukrainian one. Anatoly Lomachenko trained his son, while continuously helping Usyk, oftentimes advising him. On top of that, he personally trained him for his major bouts. As a professional, Lomachenko became a champion and an All-American star overnight. Usyk's road to success was a winding one. Despite that, they didn't grow jealous or mean to each other. They would wish each other to hold the title of the world's best boxer. Usyk and Lomachenko had won various championship titles in various weight classes. Lomachenko and Usyk were respectively declared the best boxers in the world according to the most reputable boxing rankings. Worldwide, fans even started to speculate who is better, Vasyl or Alexander. But the friends would only nod at each other, and each kept on winning.
The winner by knockout victory, Lomachenko's father, Vasyl Lomachenko.
Usyk and Lomachenko attend each other's fights on a regular basis. They support each other before bouts, help focus upon entering the ring, and root for each other in the stands. They congratulate each other even before the president of Ukraine does.
Здрасте, доброе утро. Мы когда выходили, я думал, что ни одного американца в зале нет, а потом оказалось, что их чуть-чуть было. Спасибо большое, что служим народу Украины.
Before Usyk versus Joshua, Lomachenko came to support his friend as usual. For Usyk, winning heavyweight belts meant that he would acquire more boxing titles than Lomachenko for the first time in their friendship. It meant that he would eventually outperform his buddy in their covert, friendly rivalry. A challenging boxing camp came to an end. How many of them has he attended in a 20-year sports career? 100? 150? Usyk is tired of missing his family and his motherland. But he has to take yet one more step.
And I like what they do, and for real, it doesn't matter which weight class.
Я не знаю, все замечательно, все, слава богу, чувствую себя великолепно, моя команда здесь, все тут, кого я люблю, ну, кроме моих детей. Так что, действительно, я не напряжен.
Almost in every interview, Usyk mentions his family, God, and motherland. He doesn't do it to make people like him. He does hold those things dear. Family, faith, and the love of his motherland. Those are Alexander's core values, the three pillars of his identity. When he makes a point of it, he doesn't bluff or show off. Family, faith, and the love of his motherland. That's what aids Alexander in his boxing and private life. That's what he lives for. Usyk's body is covered with tattoos, but not just some mythical designs or fashionable hieroglyphs. These images and inscriptions are, in a way, a gallery of the most memorable events of Alexander's life. His children's names, the coat of arms of Ukraine, the map of Ukraine, inclusive of his native Crimea, with the Olympic rings and London inscribed on it. Also the Archangel Gabriel and the Holy Kiev Pechevsk Lavra. Usyk is a devout Orthodox Christian. He regularly goes to church and adheres to religious traditions. The boxer is convinced that it is faith that helps him achieve his goals. He also diligently prepares for upcoming bouts, but he won't fight without praying for God's assistance first. Afterwards, he always thanks God for granting him physical and moral power. The boxer's closest ones share his faith, but his religious affiliation had a role in why some fans turned away from him. He's a parishioner of the church deemed pro-Russian in Ukraine. That was yet another reason to accuse him of being unpatriotic. Having won all of the possible amateur and professional titles for his weight, Usyk moved up to the heavyweight to challenge himself. Usyk dreamed of becoming the best in the most prestigious weight division dubbed the Royal. The one once reigned by Muhammad Ali, where Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, and Lennox Lewis won their titles.
I was groggy, but I held him. I held him when I was groggy.
And the realm dominated by Ukrainians, the Klitschko brothers. Usyk realized that in the new weight, his rivals would be heavier, mightier, and bigger than him. Anthony Joshua was the most formidable of them all, the holder of the 3 champion titles, the one who defeated Volodymyr Klitschko in the mega fight of the decade in Wembley, the fan favorite in the UK, a world superstar. Usyk thought of a match with Joshua as something unattainable, which was further aggravated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Fans were banned from attending stadiums. As a result, big matches got canceled, and there were no prospects of organizing new ones. The future of professional boxing became quite vague. The pandemic declined, but Usyk's chances to face the champion remained uncertain. The whole world was waiting for the Fury versus Joshua mega fight, the bout between the 2 most renowned heavyweights.
He took a loss against Tyson Fury, and what I kept on hearing is the obsession and the passion to get the victory. So I always knew I was going to come against.
His practice on the pad took me bang, 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 bang.
The bout was cancelled. Usyk got his chance, but appeared a no-hoper versus Joshua. Yet he wasn't what he seemed. Joshua lost to Usyk 3 of his titles in the most prestigious weight class. Usyk's contract mentioned a rematch. On the flight home, the Ukrainian was already conscious of his nearest future.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Yes, good. I'm well.
God bless.
Thank you. You too. How do you feel?
Alive.
Okay.
You?
I'm very feel.
The rematch negotiations were tough. Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, wanted the boxers to fight in London once again, but the Saudi Arabia offer was more cost-effective. Thus, the city of Jeddah was chosen to host the bout. The rematch was scheduled for August 20, 2022, 11 months after the first match. Recently, Saudi Arabia has been actively promoting itself as a mega fight host. It's become a viable competitor to the USA and the UK. Yet there are no prominent boxing traditions in this country, but there is a lot of money, which is everything in professional boxing.
Я дуже радий тут знаходитись. Наскільки ми знаємо, у нас зараз складне становище, але це не про це. Ми робимо свою справу з моєю командою. Я просто трудився і виконував свою роботу в своєму тренувальному лагері. А потім я вийду і буду радувати вас своїм боксом. Thank you.
In Jeddah, Usyk appeared as funny, outgoing, and charismatic as ever, but nobody knew his true thoughts, what went on inside his head. In the morning of February 24th, 2022, Russia launched the military invasion of Ukraine. Its army crossed over the border into the neighboring country. They brought a full-scale war to Ukraine. Bombings and missile strikes on peaceful towns and villages. Rampant destruction. Multiple civilian casualties. The bombed out Mariupol, the massacred Bucha. Usyk was in London when the war broke out. He came back to Ukraine right away. He evacuated his family abroad and joined Ukraine's territorial defenses. He took up arms. Usyk's house is in Irpin, a suburb of Kyiv next to Bucha, a town known all over the world now. This is where heavy fighting took place, and Russians committed the most heinous crimes against civilians. The invaders fled, but left behind many destroyed buildings in and around Irpin. Usyk's house remained intact. Russians robbed it, messed it up, and left there their atrocious V mark. When the war broke out, Usyk remained the current world boxing champion, so he had to face Joshua in the rematch. Alexander had to defend his 3 championship titles. Such were the terms of his contract. Such are the rules of professional boxing and its unwritten law. There is no place for emotions when big money and revenues are at stake. The champion faced a choice. Should he defend his motherland and give up the bout and his belts? Or should he fight in the match, fight before millions of fans, and bring glory to Ukraine once again in the whole world? The opinions of Usyk's fans differed. In what capacity does Ukraine need him most? With boxing gloves on or with a gun in his hand? Alexander decided to fight in the match. Now many people expect him to win. Usyk was preparing for the rematch with Joshua during the heaviest battles in Ukraine, against the backdrop of the news spread around the world and those from Alexander's closest ones who stayed in Ukraine.
What's happening in your home country? Just one comment. What's happening?
В Україні зараз гаряче, тому що Російська Федерація намагається вбити нас всіх і посилає бомби на нас. За останні 4 дні, напевно, по Україні випустили більш ніж 100 ракет. Російська Федерація бомбить мою країну і руйнує мирні будинки, де живуть люди. Не як у воєнну інфраструктуру, а місто, торгові центри, лікарні.
At the press conference, Usyk looked the same as 10 years ago when he won the London Olympics. The same traditional color palette of his clothes. The same Zaporizhia Cossack haircut.
Я нічого ні від кого не очікую, тому що це велика дурниця чогось чекати від людей. Я розумію, що він буде інший. Я також буду інший. Я не хочу бути великим. Багато людей хочуть якогось признання, щоб про них говорили, щоб про них пам'ятали. Мені цього нічого не треба. Все, що я роблю, боксую і живу, це приносить мені дуже велике задоволення. Зараз я буду продовжувати це робити, доки моє серце буде битися. Єдине, до чого я дуже стрімко йду, це врятувати свою душу.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.